Waking Up with
Shivraj Prashad, your host on Good Morning Grammar. Now this show is really all about you. If you hear someone using poor grammar, pronunciation, or just enunciating ideas poorly, instead of being rude and correcting them, just turn them over to our Good Morning Grammar experts. Now it's time for
Words on Wednesday with Preeti Singh. A pretty baffling grammar question is the difference between that and which. Now, first of all, it's important to note that there is no difference in meaning between the two. They're different only in the way they're used in a sentence. Another way they are also similar is that both are used to indicate something more about the noun or nouns being referred to in a sentence or a clause. While both which and that can be used in general sentence constructions easily, the confusion usually arises when they're being used as relative pronouns to introduce adjective or relative clauses. The adjective clause tells us something about the noun, but the choice of which or that changes the way we should read each sentence. Now, that is used to indicate a specific noun or nouns, a person, object, place, or condition. Which, in turn, is then used always after a comma to add further information about those nouns, be they objects, people, situations, or items. For example, the concert that I was talking about is at the end of the month. In this, the word that is an integral part of the sentence and thus does not require a comma or anything further. The sentence is complete in itself. Now, if you wish to give further information about the noun here, the concert in question, an event, and expanding on the same sentence, it would then read, the concert that I was talking about is at the end of the month, comma, which we would not be able to attend. Let's back up a little here. What are clauses? The units of grammar that contain, let's say, at least one verb and a subject or noun are called clauses. In these, the verb is the most important determinant of a clause. An independent clause is a group of words that contains a subject and verb and expresses a complete thought. An independent clause is a sentence in itself. Such a clause or sentence uses that. Which is used to indicate an optional clause that is dependent on the first part of the sentence. It defines the clause in a non-essential way. This is why it is used after a comma as a continuation of the sentence. Take, for example, if you say, I like that denim dress. Now, this is a complete standalone sentence, an independent clause. It is not separated by commas and is a full sentence again in itself. As opposed to, I like that denim dress, comma, which you wore for your niece's birthday. So the second part of the sentence is an optional or dependent clause, indicated by the word which, and it follows after a comma. So here, a dependent clause is a group of words that contains a subject and verb but does not express a complete thought. A dependent clause cannot be a standalone sentence. So, which is used to connect an independent clause with a dependent one, thus breaking or separating the sentence with a comma. Its use can also be as an adjective, whereas it is used to modify a noun. I am still deciding which dress to wear to my niece's birthday. In the end, before I go, I must give you the simplest rule of thumb that I have used and the way that I've always remembered the difference between that and which. That is used in clauses that are restrictive or essential. They may be standalone or as part of a sentence. Which is used in clauses that are non-restrictive or non-essential. Dependent. They cannot be standalone and must be an additional part of a sentence, adding more information about the noun. Which is why you use which always after a comma. It's easy to connect with me on Twitter or Instagram. My handle is the same on both. Truth About Nobody. That's TruthAboutNobody. I also have a podcast called the Good Comms Podcast with Preeti Singh, in which I share bite-sized nuggets to help you improve your verbal and non-verbal communication skills. I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn as well. Till then, see you next Wednesday for a word with me on Good Morning Grammar.
I hope what you heard was useful, but we'd love to hear from you as well. You too can feature on any episode by sending in your request or feedback with a voice message on WhatsApp on +91 962 547 5442 or via email at shivraj@brevis.in. We'd be happy to read out your message here or even play it on an entire Friday special episode. Have a good day and stay tuned for another fresh episode of Good Morning Grammar.